You didn't think I was going to forget. Oh, please. Yes, in 2 days, April 1st. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. In 2 days, we go back to orbit around the moon. First time in 53 years. Of course, I wasn't going to forget. Well, plus, I've got him by 7 years, and yes, I was around to watch us land on the moon. So, anyways, I just had this wonderful. I had a hard time picking which pictures to put up on my collage, so I turned into a collage. Wasn't going to do a slideshow because it'd be just like click, 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 click. But anyways, we're returning to the moon. First time, 53 years, folks. And I just got my little array of pictures I did choose. So we got our Apollo 17 crew here and their mission badge. And then we got our Artemis 2 crew here looking cool and their mission badge. Over here we've got Apollo 17 on the pad with a nice little moonrise. Then we got Artemis 2 on the pad with a nice little moonrise. And then this photo here is sunrise, or sunrise, moonrise. No, geez, Scott, it is Earthrise, and this was a picture taken from Apollo 17. So we've got got my nice little collage going on here, which is totally cool. We're going to be totally cool. I'm going to be doing my best to, I'm going to cover it live here. I'm going to, it's NASA, so I mean, there's not going to be a copyright issue if we pay for it. It's our dollars. But it's going to be April 1st at 3:24 p.m. Pacific time. Yes, I'm giving Pacific time. Everyone always uses Eastern time. We got that Eastern time bourgeois. Oh, I hate to use that word. Anyways, bias. Bias is the word I want. So this is a Pacific Coast bias over here because I'm on the Pacific Coast. So April 1st, 3:24 p.m. Pacific. It's supposed to go off, depending on the weather. Now, we have concerns, space weather, due to we still have a lot of solar activity going on. And, it wouldn't be such a bad thing if we had a big-ass flare come off or a CME come our direction and, hey, holding off for a day, we're okay. Apparently, we got several days back to back to back for launch windows, which is good just in case something funky like that happens. So we're doing good there. We're doing good there. Now, something we're going to be doing is it's not straight to the moon. Of course not. We can't do that because we're talking about things that are orbiting and getting speeds up. And we're getting up to speed, shall we say. But as you can see, and hopefully you can see it coming out, I tried to find one that covers the details but not too detaily. But we're going to take off. We're going to go around the Earth and then out, go around the moon, and then come back to Earth. So, yeah, it's going to be it's a figure eight, but we go around the bottom of the gate twice, if you want to put it that way. So we go, we launch, we go around again, slingshot out to get our speed up, and then we go around the moon, and then we head back home. So that should be pretty cool. We've already got a satellite around the moon anyhow, taking pictures of, everything. But it'd be really cool with, more modern tech to get some better shots of the Earth. And they're also going to be scanning out, possible landing sites for future missions, which we're doing anyways. But, they're going to have newer tech, better tech, and more updated things. So that's going to be pretty cool. I couldn't pass this one up. Yes, folks. They have a Lego set for Artemis 2 and its moon launch. Although one thing I just can't believe this. $250 for a Lego set? Yeah, my voice went up. I had to. $250 for Legos. Folks, I don't know what to say on that one, man. I grew up with Legos. We used the little wooden blocks with the notches in it, for crying out loud. But what are those called? Lego lugs? Yeah. But anyways, $250 for a Lego kit. So with that kind of a price, hopefully it's got engines in it and you can launch it and recover it. I don't know. And of course, I've got my ticket for Artemis 2. Right here, got my ticket. Had it for a long time now, but I'm here. Guys, let me go. I'm here. I'm late for the flight, but I'll go. Now, you can get your ticket too, but I think you can still get your ticket. I mean, this is NASA's promo. Get your official boarding pass. I've got it. Of course, I had some really cool ones back in the day for some of the other missions where they actually sent you a really nice boarding pass, high res image. It looked just like a boarding pass. It even had a little hologram images on it and stuff. That was like really, really cool. Granted, you had to pay for it. It wasn't cheap, wasn't free, but unfortunately, I lost those along with many other things. But that's life. But anyways, we're going back to the moon, folks. I'm jazzed. I've been, the space shuttle was wonderful for doing what it needed to do. I mean, we needed a space truck, and we got a space truck. But unfortunately, we didn't have the money or the interest in the money. We had the money. It was an either or. Either we continue with the rockets to the moon, or we go with the space shuttle program. And unfortunately, we've had so many landings on the moon. I mean, this was Apollo 17, that we weren't even getting viewing on TV had gone off. People were no longer sitting around the TV to watch, and it's just more astronauts bouncing around on the moon, driving around on the buggy, which is always cool footage if we can find it. That'd be fun. And they're doing rooster tails. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Some people are golfing out there. Other people are, they're having fun with the moonmobile, which is still there, by the way. We did not bring it back home. But anyways, people stopped watching. It became blasé. So the powers that be, the brains that be, decided, okay, the launches we've been there, done that. We're tired of it. So people are tired of it. So let's put all the money into the space shuttle program, which is like totally cool. Space shuttle, was wonderful. Minus 2 problems. Yeah, we're not gonna go there. But anyways, that kind of put us behind in our rocket technology, and a lot of the guys who were around who built the Saturn V's, they've all retired or passed on. So their knowledge and their insight gone. We had to retool everything because all the equipment we had for making Saturn V's was scrapped and designed to make space shuttle rocket engines and etc. So now that we're going back to a rocket design, we have to retool everything back to rocket design as opposed to the shuttle lifters. So, it is what it is. That's the way life goes. Can't do both. You can't get your ice cream and your fudge brownie. You had to pick which one you want. One thing, we're going up on April 1st. And we've got, potential solar flares, solar CMEs and stuff. Unfortunately, it does kind of remind me of when NASA started getting a little big on themselves. And they decided to challenge things. And like with Apollo 13, which they launched on Friday the 13th. So they were like, okay, in your face, we're NASA, we can do what we want. And, well, Apollo 13 was supposed to land on the moon. And, well, we all, hopefully you all know. And you haven't seen the movie with Tom Hanks, see the movie. It's great. And Gary Sinise, I love that actor. Anyhow, great movie, but, there they mixed up on, there was a spark and turned in the tank, so they didn't freeze, and they ended up blowing half the capsule up. So, yeah, no landing, around the moon and hopefully come back if they can keep the, astronauts alive in the situation, the fact that they were flying around in a dead ship. That would have been bad. And of course, yes, Apollo 13 got people back watching TV because as soon as we had a problem out there, everybody was tuning in to see what, we can get our boys home. So let's hope, launching on April 1st with potential solar flares. It's also kind of like reminds me of, again, Challenger when they were so, gung-ho on launching, and they did so when the temperatures were still freezing. And that's what happened is the O-rings contracted, so the seals weren't there, and well, bad things happened there. And that was, again, NASA getting cocky. They bowed to some pressure to launch. They should have just waited, a couple of hours. But for whatever reason it was, some say it was, President Reagan was pushing them to launch. Well, then, NASA, people at NASA, if that's true, NASA should have had the balls to turn around and tell the president, say, no, we're not putting anyone at risk. We don't, we have a temperature problem. We'll have to wait for things to warm up. And, if it meant, a scrub for the day because maybe a weather front was coming in, if they waited, they missed the weather front. I don't remember some of the details on it. I do remember when it blew up. I remember that very well. I was going to junior college. And I was arriving a little late for my class, and I showed up on the campus, and the campus is empty. No one's walking around. Very few people are walking around. And yeah, I'm late for class, but they usually have people. It's a college campus, but there's very few people walking around and about. And then I get to my classroom, and they've got a TV on in there, and they're going, everyone's glued to the TV watching, and I come in, I'm like, oh shit, and I look up, and the teacher's up there saying, guys, we had a tragedy, just the Challenger just blew up. And I'm like, I just literally came walking in the classroom and looked on the TV and saw, boom. So it happened while I was, driving the. So I remember that was heartbreaking. Everybody was like dead ass quiet, and teacher said he was canceling the class for the day, and pretty much a lot of the other classes were done. And I remember stepping out, and I went somewhere. I went to go stand somewhere. And my lady friend just happened to come out, and she comes walking by, and hey, we didn't plan on meeting up, but we did. So we ended up going to lunch, or having an early lunch, and we then sat in it was a Chinese restaurant, and they had TVs on, and were constantly covering it and going over with it. But anyhow. Don't need to go on that big tangent. But that was my concern. Again, I don't want NASA pushing the envelope and getting some ego out there. But hopefully I'm wrong. Dead ass wrong. That'd be great. Dead ass wrong. It's gonna be a good day. We're gonna have a successful launch. We're going around the moon. This is gonna be totally cool. Tune in. I'm gonna be covering it. So let's go. Do it to it, NASA. May God be with you. Thank you very much, and see you on Wednesday afternoon, 3:30, 3:24 Pacific time. Bye, guys.